What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Big Ben's Podcast, episode 18, Valentine's Day edition, coming at you with...
Well, thank you.
Y'all, this week has been a pretty good week. NASCAR is back, and we're going to cover that. But before we get any more into this video, look at this right here. I was looking at YouTube Analytics, and right now, in the last 28 days, 50% of the people who have watched our channel are not subscribed. So, if you're part of this 50% and you're watching this video right now, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below on either side of the screen. Please, it really helps us out to get new viewers and new subscribers because it motivates us to want to make bigger and better content for you guys. And the like will also help us out a lot with getting us into the algorithm and putting our videos out for more people to see, and it reaches a bigger branch of audience. So, please, if you're part of this 50%, let's fix that and let's get that low. And also to the 49% of people who have watched and are subscribed, thank you so much for watching these videos because it helps us out a lot. Any viewers help. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into the rest of the video. Do you have anything to add?
Hit the like button.
All right, we'll be right back. I wanted to take a minute right here because I seen something earlier this week on Facebook. Because I haven't been able to watch TikTok, but I have TikTok back. They put it back on the App Store and everything.
Yeah, they had a little thing on TikTok.
So I have TikTok back. My life is now complete. I felt lonesome without TikTok because I'm on TikTok a lot. I watched TikTok till like 4 o'clock this morning before I went to bed. But anyway, I was on Facebook and there are some weird sayings that only parents can say. The first one is because I said so. My mom used to use that line on me so much growing up, and I could not stand it because that is not an answer. Because I said so is not an answer. That's just you being a butthole and not wanting to give me an actual answer.
No, that's when they don't have a reason. They just say, because I said so.
Like, what is that? Mom, can I have this candy? No. Why? Because I said so.
They don't know why you can't have candy. They just don't want to get. They don't want you to have it.
What is the point of that saying? Because I said so. What is the point of it? My mom used that a lot on me growing up. Mom, can I have this toy? No. Why? Because I said so. Mom, can I go to a friend's house? No. Why? Because I said so. Give me a reason instead of just saying because I said so. Another thing I don't understand that parents say is, I brought you into this world, I can take you out of it. What does that mean? Are you going to physically murder me to take me out of this world?
Did any of our parents say that?
I think Mama have used it maybe once or twice.
I don't think they have.
But I mean, what does that mean? I brought you into this world, I can take you out of it. Are you going to murder me to get me out of this world? I mean, what does that mean?
I think it's a figure of speech. They're going to kick your butt.
I know, but they should word it differently. I mean, I brought you into this world, I can take you out of it. I've never understood that saying. Another one is, you better stop all that crying before I give you something to cry about. Mama used that on me a lot because I was a crybaby as a kid. I still am.
Yeah, I was about to say you still are.
But I mean, what does that mean? Are you going to abuse me so I cry more? I've never understood.
No, she's going to beat you. Then you're going to have
That's abuse me.
That's not abusing.
I'm picking. This is a comedy podcast. I am picking. But yeah, so, I mean, what does that mean? What was one of the ones that Mama used on you a lot growing up? Mama,
I don't know. I was a good kid.
You ain't a good kid no more. You're bad now. But yeah, so let me know down in the comment section down below, what do you think is the weirdest parent saying that you've ever heard? That was the only few I could think of.
I know a time when every kid gets scared when their mom uses their full name to call them. I know when Mom or Dad used to say, Landon Seth Thickman.
I'm in court.
I knew I was in trouble.
If some of y'all haven't realized by now, I've remade the poster. I said last week I would have a new poster. That's why I didn't have it lit up. But yeah, this is a lot better, I think. It has subscribe over here. I couldn't fully spell subscribe, so I just put sub. And then I've got like over here. This was supposed to be an exclamation mark, but it looks more like an upside down I than it does an explanation point. But yeah, so you're watching the Big Ben Podcast with Lil Figgy. So please subscribe and like, and we're going to get into our next topic, and we'll be right back. As all of us know, Super Bowl 59 was last weekend, and what happened to the Chiefs, Landon? They choked.
We lost.
The Chiefs choked. The biggest choke in Super Bowl history.
No, it's not. It was the Falcons. The Falcons brought 28-3 with like 3 minutes left in the third quarter, and they lost.
But yeah, so this man right here was very, very upset. He physically...
I'm still upset about it.
This man abused me because we were inside watching it with my mom. He was outside watching it, and I called him. He declined my phone, so I called him off my mom's phone, and I just went, ha, 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 and then I hung up. He come in there wielding a rake and was going to physically hurt me because his team was losing.
I'm not going to physically hurt him.
You did physically hurt me. You grabbed me with...
I did
not. But Lamb, what do you feel about the Chiefs? I mean... What was your first initial reaction when you knew they were going to lose?
I was bummed out, but I mean we played our worst game of the year in the biggest game of the season. But I mean we have won the last two, so I can't really be that upset.
Bro, the amount of memes people have made on Facebook because they lost is very, very, very funny. Someone even made a meme about how the Chiefs scored 22 points because Taylor Swift has a song called 22.
Yeah, I was feeling 22.
And, but yeah, I don't understand what happened with the Chiefs. I mean, they were one of the top teams all year long, and then they choke in the Super Bowl.
And one, we didn't have no good offensive line. It was just like that Tampa Super Bowl loss. Defense was playing bad. Everything was playing bad. That's why we lost.
Patrick Mahomes was not good.
Patrick Mahomes did not play that bad. I know people were saying he probably had one of the worst games, but that's because he had no O-line. His two picks was because of his O-line.
The O-line has nothing to do with it.
Yes, it does, dude. If you have freaking people all up here, and then one of the picks, he got hit in the ankle, so and hit in the arm, so it was short.
But yeah, so congratulations to the Eagles. Eagles fans, I know y'all were probably happy as I don't know what when the Chiefs lost. I was happy when the Chiefs lost just because I don't like the Chiefs. They win too much. But the Kansas City Cheaters apparently didn't pay the refs enough in the Super Bowl. So,
yeah, that's true. The refs weren't reffing.
So it just wasn't a good game, good anything for the Chiefs. But so now... NASCAR is back in session now that Super Bowl's passed. The Daytona 500 is this Sunday. I'm going to be watching that.
Kyle Larson can win.
And I'm going to remind y'all of a new segment we came up with in last week's video. What we're going to do is each week on here, we're going to predict who we think is going to win the race. So this week, I chose Denny Hamlin just because Denny Hamlin has a good record when it comes to the Daytona 500. He has won it, I think, 3 times now. And he chose Kyle Larson. If our driver wrecks out or doesn't finish in the top 5, we have to do a loser dare called the NASCAR Loser Dare. That's the name of the new segment. And I'm hoping Denny Hamlin finishes it higher than Kyle Larson because I have a doozy of a punishment for him to do if he loses next week.
You say a doozy?
Yes.
I'll never say that again.
It's going to be a doozy of a punishment.
I already know what the punishment is because he told me, but
you don't know how it's going to taste. It is going to be food related because we're fat. I'm going to make him a tuna milkshake with the tuna juice. I ain't going to drain it. So I'm hoping.
But that's not going to happen because Kyle Larson is going to go be in the top 5.
But yeah, like I just said, if Kyle Larson wrecks out, I automatically win no matter where Denny Hamlin finishes.
If Denny wrecks too.
If they both wreck, then we're just going to be... We'll both have to do a loser dare that somebody in our media circle can come up with. So tonight is the Craftsman Truck Series that I'm going to be watching. They come on at 7:30, and that's why I'm hoping that I can get this up and edit it and put it up so I can be able to watch it. I watched the duels last night. He was in his room. Bubba Wallace won duel 1, so he's starting third this weekend at Daytona. Austin Cindric won duel 2, but he didn't have to win because he was already locked into the front row. And we had probably one of the craziest finishes I think I've ever seen at Daytona. It was a caution finish, and Eric Jones thought he won, and he even started celebrating because he thought he won. But NASCAR has a rule where if a caution comes out, whoever's leading at the time of the caution on the final lap wins the race. And Austin Cindric was ahead by that much when the caution came out. So Austin Cindric won. So let's see what Erik Jones can do for the 500. I mean, he had a fast car last night. I mean, he was staying up there in the top three the entire second half of the race.
Car is in Daytona.
Yes, it does.
No, it does not.
Y'all, any race fanatics, if you watch NASCAR, let him know that it does matter how fast your car is at Daytona.
I mean, it does, but it doesn't.
Okay, if it doesn't matter how fast your car is, then why is there only one pole winner? And they don't qualify all together. They qualify separately.
Because.
So right now, Chase Briscoe has the fastest car at Daytona.
Yeah, but that's not going to help him.
Yes, it will.
It's a strategy.
It helped him last night.
You have to stay in the drift.
Before the drift is called draft, first off.
Drift, draft, same thing.
No, it's not. Drifting is Fast and Furious. Drafting is racing. But Chase Briscoe was up front, and he was up front for a few laps, but once people started wrecking, he dropped to the back because he did not want to wreck his fast car.
Exactly. So if he was involved in that wreck, his race would be over.
Pretty much.
So it don't matter about how fast you are in this race. It's about avoiding caution, avoiding wrecks.
But he made the right decision. He went to the garage to keep his car safe for the 500. Now, he's going to give it his all on Sunday.
Exactly. If he wrecks, it's not going to matter how fast his car is.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Please let him know.
It's about where you're at the end.
Yeah, on speed.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, it is, bruh.
No, it's not. Daytona is not a... It's no matter how fast you are. Who's going to be last?
Who's starting last?
Yeah.
You have to search it. I have the app on my phone, but I've used my phone to record. I think it's probably somebody we don't ever think would win because usually they don't. I know Chase Briscoe starting on the pole, Austin Cindric starting second. Bubba Wallace is starting third. Erik Jones is starting fourth. And after that, I don't know.
I don't know what to say. But last place has as much as a chance as the first car does.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
If last place gets to Chase Briscoe is going to beat him on speed.
No, he's not.
Yes, he will.
It doesn't matter about speed, dude.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. If it was like a race like Kansas or Kentucky or something like that, yes, it wouldn't matter about speed.
Whatever. I've only been watching NASCAR the last 6 years. I mean, I haven't been a lifetime race fan. I became a fan of NASCAR back in the 2018 era, and I've been watching it ever since. And NASCAR is still fun to watch. The only thing I don't like about the cars now is that the numbers move forward. But they did that because when these next-gen cars came, they couldn't fit the sponsor on the side of the car and the number in the middle, so they just pushed the number forward. But I've gotten to like it, and so remember our final predictions for Daytona is Denny Hamlin for me, Kyle Larson for him, and we will see who has to do the loser dare in next week's podcast. I have been out of school now for 5 years. That's crazy to think about. I graduated in 2020, the COVID-infested year. But I got to thinking earlier this week about some of the weirdest school drills. The first weirdest one I could think of is the tornado drill, when you get down on your knees and you do this and have your butt up in the air. I mean,
Teachers are looking.
Yeah, it sucked for me to do that when I was in school because my ass crack was out all the time.
What kind of ditty person made that drill?
You want to know what it looked like?
How's that going to protect you? Freaking have
Hang on.
You don't have a freaking ceiling in your butt crack.
You know what I looked like when I was down in that position?
A plumber?
No, I looked like one of them rides, and my butt crack was the coin slide. But yeah, I never liked that drill because my pants would always show at least that much of my behind, and I would keep pulling them up. But what is that gonna do? I mean,
it's gonna protect your head.
Yeah, it's gonna protect your head. But if something falls from the roof, it's gonna paralyze you if it hits you in the back the right way. I mean, he was saying while we were talking about this before we filmed that if a real tornado's coming, he's not doing that. I wasn't either. I mean, what is that going to?
I'm gonna get crisscross applesauce and cover my head.
I mean, what is that going to accomplish doing that? I mean, most schools are made out of bricks, so I think they could sustain a tornado except for the roof. The roof might get ripped off. But if you're on the bottom floor, that's fine. But if you're on the second floor, you might be in trouble. But yeah, I've never understood that drill. To me, it's a weird drill. They need to change how they do it. Oh my God. One of the things that sucks about recording on a phone is you can hear the notification sounds when they come in, and I can't put my phone on Do Not Disturb in case there's an emergency. Because, I mean, when your phone's on Do Not Disturb, no calls or texts can come in. Nothing will come in.
But another drill is a school shooter drill.
Now, we're not saying this in any way, shape, or form to be funny or anything like that. It's just most school shooter drills. I mean, we didn't have them often, but we had them sometimes.
We don't even practice them.
And how it would go is you would block the door, cut the light off, and you'd get into the furthest corner of the room.
And away from a window.
Cutting the light off does nothing because every classroom has at least 4 windows in it.
If it's a student, they're going to know you're in there.
Yeah.
Like, I get cutting lights off because it might see like, oh, maybe they're not in that class. But, I mean, you're going to hear them because, I mean, during them times, you'll be emotional. You'll want to call your parents. But I think it's stupid we even got to do those because of the world we live in where people can just come into a school and try to shoot up kids that are just trying to get education.
And I think that schools need to have a lot more protection when it comes to them type of things because, I mean, anybody can just walk into the school. I mean, yeah, schools have taken precautions now with students. Like, he goes to the high school here, and when I went to school, the world wasn't the way it is today. So now when he goes into school in the morning, they have to walk through a metal detector, and they have to have their book bag checked, right? I mean, your book bag. I mean, last year they did clear book bags.
No, that was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, they had clear book bags, and that's just how bad school shootings have gotten. But, I mean, in that particular drill, I mean, there could be a further safety measure they can take in those scenarios.
I mean, I've already said it, dude. If we have a school shooter and they're on the other side of the building and I have a way out, I'm leaving. I ain't staying in that classroom.
I mean, but sadly, that's just the world we live in today, and I think school shooter drills should be, have them more often because they don't have them that often. I mean, they have more fire drills than they do school shooter drills. But yeah, so that just to us was a drill we thought we should cover because, I mean, it's just the world we live in today. Back in the 80s and 90s, I don't think they had school shooter drills. But we do now. But the next one we were going to get into was the earthquake drill. I don't know why we did those here in South Carolina because we don't ever hardly experience earthquakes.
We could.
I don't even think we've ever experienced one here in South Carolina. If we did, it was a very small one and we did not feel it. But places like California,
We don't even do earthquake drills. I don't think anybody in South Carolina really does them anymore.
I think places like California experience them quite often.
The West Coast.
Mainly on the West Coast, that's where they experience them. But, I mean, here in South Carolina, I don't think we get stuck with hurricanes and severe weather here in the South. That's what we get. But yeah, so let us know in the comment section down below.
And a fire drill.
I wasn't going to cover a fire drill. Because all you do in a fire drill is just go outside. That's it. I mean, have you had a weird experience during a fire drill? I never had. I mean, we just went outside and cracked up with my friends and all, and then we went back inside. I do remember one day, though, in high school, we were sitting in class, and all of a sudden the fire alarm went off. So that's because somebody in the lunchroom actually started a fire in the kitchen. They left some pizzas in the oven too long, and they caught fire. So that day we actually had an actual fire. So, but the firefighters got there in time, and they put it out, and everything was safe. Nobody got hurt. The kitchen wasn't too badly damaged. So yeah. But let us know in the comment section down below, what do you think is the weirdest fire drill, and if you've had a weird experience during a school drill, and we will be right back. Y'all, the last topic we're going to get into today is we are going to be ranking some more movies. We've done this 3 times already on this channel. We did it right when the channel was first starting. We did Halloween and Scream in one video, close to Halloween.
And then we did Scooby-Doo.
A couple weeks ago, we did Scooby-Doo.
And we did a Halloween one.
And so today, we are going to be ranking Toy Story. Now, y'all, Toy Story is a great franchise of movies that started all the way in the 90s, all the way up to 2019. And we're going to rank them and talk about them. And so, yeah, so let's go ahead and get into it. You want to kick us off?
All right, so how we're going to do this is I'm going to say my fourth, he's going to say his fourth. I'm going to say my three, he's going to say his three. I'm going to say my two, he's going to say his two. I'm going to say my one, and he's going to say his one.
What does that mean?
And we're going back and forth, so when I say my
Oh.
All right, my number 4 is Toy Story 4. And the reason for this being so low is one, the other 3 movies are way better than this one. 2, this movie is very unnecessary. This movie was not needed to be made at all.
And now they're talking about a Toy Story 5 released in 2025,
And
2026, I mean.
The one thing I don't get is the ending. When Woody chooses Bo Peep over the game. Then what was the whole reason for him not to go to college with Andy? Just stay with them with Bonnie. What was the purpose of it? Now you just ruined probably the best ending to a movie, which is in Toy Story 3. And you ruin it. But I think the movie's pretty good though. Yeah.
You just said that it was the movie wasn't necessary, and then you said, well, the movie was pretty good though.
Yeah, but it was pretty good though. I like the connection between Bo Peep and Woody. You don't really get to see that in the first 2 movies because she's not in the 3rd one.
She ain't in the 2nd one.
Yes, she is.
No, she's not.
Yes, she is.
No, she is. Oh, yes, she is.
You've seen the meme when he's like not in front of Buzz and then it pans to Buzz.
Yeah, she was in the 2nd. She wasn't in the 3rd or 4th.
I feel like
she was in the 4th one.
I feel like the main cast of Andy's toys are not in this movie enough, especially Buzz. Buzz is not in this movie enough. So that is why Toy Story 4 is at my 4.
That was funny. Alright, going. Alright, my 4th one is Toy Story 4 also. I mean, like he said, I mean, this was an unnecessary movie that they didn't have to make because Toy Story 3 is where it should have ended in 2010 because, you know, nearing the end, Andy gives his toys to Bonnie and he goes off to college. And like he said, probably one of the greatest endings to a Pixar movie ever.
Any movie.
Any movie. So, I mean, Toy Story 4 was really not necessary, but Toy Story 4, they introduced new toys into the film, like Forky, which is just a fork that Bonnie got out of the trash.
I don't really care for Fork Count.
They introduced the new Bo Peep, because, you know, in the 2nd one, she had her Bo Peep outfit on, and in Toy Story 4, she didn't. What was the name of the dude on the motorcycle?
What was his name? He was Canadian.
He was introduced in Toy Story 4. A couple other toys in the antique store were introduced. The toy without a voice box was creepy. But yeah, so that's my number 4 is Toy Story 4. I mean, I've only watched the movie once, and I couldn't follow along with the story of it, so that's why I didn't really care for it that much. Right. So, we'll get into his number 3.
My number 3 is Toy Story, the first one.
Why?
1, I think 3 and 2 is probably the top 2 Pixar movies of all time. Plus, I don't know, I think there's just something missing out of this movie that should be in this movie. I think it's a pretty good plotline where you kind of see the relationship between Buzz and Woody grow. And it is a funny movie. Buzz, can you get up here and give me a hand? And then he
throws his arm.
Hand up there.
Very funny, but just as serious.
But yeah, I mean, I think besides Woody and Buzz and Slinky and Rex, Mr. Potato Head and Ham is mad annoying. They are not fun characters.
Mr. Potato Head is just.
And then something else about the ending. You know how they riding that toy, and they're going very fast, and then there's cars passing them. How does no one see this? How do they not know toys are real?
Because it's a cartoon movie. That movie was meant to reach kids, not 23-year-olds and 16-year-olds.
Then Woody freaking out, what was his name? The boy.
Sid?
Yeah. Scaring Sid.
We toys see everything. So play
Did you hear about that garbage man on
Toy Story 3? That was supposed to be Sid. That's what people say. That was Sid. At least he got over his fear of toys and became a garbage man.
Imagine this Woody just popped out. We see everything. And then at the end, if Sid came out, remember when Lotso gets picked up and Sid will walk out, and then Woody comes out, Weasley.
There's a lot of memes that could be made about Toy Story. All right, we'll continue.
But like I said though, I think it was a great how the relationship of Buzz and Woody shrinks, and how they teamed up in the end and got back to Andy.
Have you ever seen Toy Story the musical? You need to watch it tonight on YouTube. It's like an hour long, and it's a pretty good musical.
All right, what's your number 3?
My number 3 would have to be Toy Story also. I mean, that's a classic movie. I mean, it came out in 1990 and, featured a lot of classic cast like Tom Hanks as Woody, Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear, and I don't know who played the rest of the people, but so, I mean, like you said, that movie, Buzz and Woody eventually make a friendship nearing the end of the movie. Like you said, but like he said, there are some funny moments in this movie, like when they're on their way to Pizza Planet and Woody gets smashed by the toolbox, and then Buzz is like, "Now how do we get in without being seen?" And Woody lifts up a cup and he's like, "Great idea." But yeah, so that
I think Toy Story is probably the funniest out of all of them in terms of.
But yeah, so
having jokes.
Toy Story was a classic movie. I've seen it. I have it on DVD. I have Toy Story 2 on DVD. I think I have Toy Story 3 on DVD too. But so ain't much I'm gonna say about that one. So what is your number 2?
My number 2 is Toy Story 2. I think this movie is a very classic movie. We get introduced to some new characters. Jesse. Again,
Bullseye.
Very weird.
Prospector.
Yeah. One of the coolest opening scenes of the Toy Story franchise. I still probably have to go 3 as the best one, but I think this one's pretty funny too. Woody hitting his head.
Buzz not knowing how to pronounce s'mores and he calls them schmoes.
I forgot. You're broken. I don't want to play with you anymore.
Could you imagine a rich kid saying that to a poor kid? I forgot. You're broke. I don't want to play with you anymore.
But I like how Buzz and the rest of the gang teams up to go find Woody. The Chicken Man. Pretty interesting character.
Al's Toy Barn and all that. That movie also had one of the most satisfying scenes, I think, of any Pixar movie when Woody gets cleaned by the old man. That sounded weird. When he gets, like, I don't even know how to say it without it sounding weird, but you know what I'm talking about. Mr. Potato Head saves the aliens from falling out the window. Oh, Mrs. Potato Head gets introduced in this movie also.
Yeah.
And nearing the end, the aliens are like, "You saved our lives. We are eternally grateful. You saved their lives. Let's adopt them, Daddy." All right, y'all. My number 2 in the ranking would have to be Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 is funny. but not as good as Toy Story 2. Toy Story 3, the toys end up at Sunnyside Daycare, and Rex and all the toys are excited they're going to get played with after years, and then they find out that they're in the toddlers class, and then they don't really like it anymore. Mr. Potato Head, I think Mr. Potato Head got the most brutal playing than any of the other toys.
No, Slinky did. He had freaking 3 of the little alien guys in him.
Barbie got out of it. She went with Ken back to the grown-up kid room.
Buzz kind of did. He got switched back over.
Mm-hmm. But they were using Buzz as a hammer try to hammer the blocks into the wrong spot. I've never understood kids' toys. But Toy Story 3 was a good movie. It had a good ending, but I like Toy Story 2's ending more than I did the third one. But that was my number 2. So we get into your number 1.
My number 1 is Toy Story 3. This is a top 5 movie of all time. The emotion you go through it from the opening scene to the very last scene. I think it's really cool to see how Andy's kind of being a jerk now that he's all grown up. But again, like I said, I think the ending now, it kind of not really sucks, but it's less emotional because, now there's no purpose of him not going with Andy if he was just going to go with Bo Peep in the end. But I think Lasso's a good villain in the Pixar universe.
I'm a hugger. He could do that so perfectly. If some of y'all have never seen Toy Story 3, you need to come out from under your rock and go see it. But when they first meet Lasso's like, "You be careful, I'm a hugger," and he picks Buzz up and gives him a hug. There's just like certain one-liners in the Toy Story franchise that were just very, very funny. Like Toy Story, who's in charge here? The Claw.
But I think the ending is when they get sent into the trash.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a very good moment where they all hold hands and
Buzz gets a TV dropped on him, and that's when he turns back from Mexican Buzz back to regular Buzz.
I know about Buzz's Spanish move. My what?
And Buzz, when he came up from under the TV, he didn't even know what happened the past few days. I'm glad you're back, Buzz. Where'd I go? But
yeah, I think this movie is really great. A top 5 movie of mine all time. I think the best Pixar movie of all time.
I don't think that's the best Pixar movie.
That's the best Pixar movie.
The best,
it's like Monster Universe is better than Monsters Inc.
We'll have to debate on that one. Because Monsters University is a good movie.
But what's your number 1?
My number 1 is Toy Story 2. Now, Toy Story 2, the reason why I think I like this movie so much is because when I was a kid, when my mom would pick me up from preschool, I had the same routine every day. I would come home, fix me a bologna sandwich. I was getting a phone call. So, so Toy Story 2, when I was like I was saying, when I was a kid, when I'd get picked up from preschool, I would come home, fix me a bologna and cheese sandwich with mayo, and I would fix me a glass of sweet tea, and I would go to my room, and we had a VHS player in my room. If some of y'all don't know what that is, here's a picture. You probably haven't seen it in like 15 years, but and we had Toy Story 2 on VHS, and I would put it in and rewind it back to the beginning, and I would do that every day. So I think that's why I love Toy Story 2 so much, because I watched it the most out of any Toy Story movie. Huh?
It's a nostalgia.
Nostalgia?
Yeah.
So, watching that movie, I've always loved it. And like we were saying earlier, it has a bunch of funny moments. Like I've said, Toy Story for some reason has some of the funniest one-liners. I think all Pixar movies have funny one-liners. Like the first Cars. You don't know my name? Is your name Mater?
We'll talk later, Mater.
But later, Mater, that's funny, right? Larry the Cable Guy did a very good job with that character. Next week we're going to be ranking those 3 movies. But Toy Story 2 is the best of all time to me. It was a close second to Toy Story 3, but Toy Story 2 is just a nostalgia movie for me to watch, and gets funnier every time I watch it. It was you who turned on the TV last night, not Jesse. I tried to be fair with you, Woody, but you forced me to do this. Prospector, this isn't fair. Fair? I'll tell you what's not. Did you actually know, people watching, Toy Story 2 almost never happened? Toy Story 2 actually accidentally got deleted. But one person had it that didn't, and if it wasn't for that one person, Toy Story 2 would have never happened. And you want to know what's sad?
That would have happened. They would have had to redo it.
The person who had it, she got fired from Pixar a couple years ago. And she saved one of the greatest Pixar movies of all time. So, I mean, thank you for saving the movie. Or I think if they would have lost the entire movie, I don't think they would have redid it. Because it would have cost them more money.
They would have redid it. You know how much money? They made a lot of money from that first movie. They would have made a second one.
The second one came out in 1995.
Yes.
No, it didn't. I'm sorry. Toy Story, 1999. So you telling me in just 4 years, they would have had enough money to pay for a first movie. If they lost it, repay everybody to remake it.
They got a lot of money from the first one. That's why they make this. That's why they made the second one.
I don't think
that's why they made the third one. And I think that's probably the only reason why they made the fourth one.
Well, now that I think about it, I'm stupid. They would have had enough money to make the second one because, I mean, in the 90s, there was multiple Pixar movies out. That just wasn't Toy Story. But y'all, that is going to be it for the video Valentine's Day edition. I hope you guys have had a great Valentine's Day. If you're going out with your girlfriend or your boyfriend, my wife's at work. He has no girlfriend, so V-Day is kind of sucking for us. So you have a date. Congratulations. If you don't, welcome to the party. But people probably hate themselves even more after that. I'm sorry. But so like I was saying, let's try to fix this 50% crap and get it 100% on the subscribed end. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below for more content. I have a couple very good videos coming up in the next couple weeks that's been cooking up in my brain. So stay tuned for those. If you don't want to miss those, when you hit that subscribe button down below, also hit the notification bell, and you'll be notified every time we upload. And go ahead and like, because like I was saying, it helps us get out into the algorithm of YouTube and puts our videos out there for more people to branch out and to get more people to come watch. And so we will see y'all in the next video. Bye.